Oh nah, I know the planets align, this shit be cosmic, but what's a retrograde to a renegade in the projects? My mindset is to avoid most nonsense and don't comment on issues that I don't vibe
What's up with it? It's your boy Noonie. It's Leo in the third house, and we back with another read.
Yo, what's up with it? This your boy Noonie, and it's Leo in the third house, back with another reading. This is gonna be another pick a card reading. We're gonna be asking the question, what were they thinking the last time they saw you? So I'm outside by the pond. It's a nice little pond out here. Down here enjoying. Alright. Out here by the water, eating sunflower seeds. So just be changing my schedule around, moving differently a little bit, just seeing what's going on. Out here enjoying nature, getting some fresh air, and just meditating with the water in a sense. It kind of gets you kind of stuck for a little bit where you just can't help it. I even got my shades on, even though it's a little cold out, but I enjoy it. All right. There's gonna be 4 piles. It's gonna be in the description box, all right? Description box is gonna say more, and then you're gonna tap more again, and then you're gonna go to where you see it's like a little jibber jabber I have. You're gonna scroll up past that, and it's gonna say close up, all right? And the close up is gonna give you the pile selection, so you can see the stones that I chose, and then you just be there at your pile. And so, a little bit of background on this topic, because I was thinking about this topic for a little while. I hadn't done it before, but I was thinking how you have an interaction with someone, it'd always be kind of dope just to maybe delve into their mind about what were they thinking? How were they what were they thinking about this interaction? What were they thinking the last time they saw me? So I thought about doing this because I seen some people I knew and I didn't get to speak with them, but I seen them kind of timid about wanting to speak. So it made me wonder I wonder what people think about us or what they think when they see us. Like, what was the last time they were thinking? It's kind of like, I've seen this post that people have done where it's like, what were they thinking? Like, when people stare at you, what were they thinking or something like that? This isn't like that. It's similar to that, but it's not that. But it made me think about that when I seen those posts. So that's why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I got another pick up a card reading coming. I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. I got it set up, but I got other readings I need to do for IG. Also, have you considered following me on IG? I record there every day. I post every day. I do zodiacs with different topics and stuff like that. So I just be having a ball on there. So yeah, think about it. It's Leo in the third house on IG. So hopefully you guys decide to join me. All right. I think that's it. So I'm about to show you the pile selection, and I'll see y'all at y'all piles. Boom. Pile 1. So, pile 1. Last time they saw you, what were they thinking? All right. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, okay, I see it. All right. Classic. All right, so these are signs. They don't have to be the sign. They could just be acting in the energy of. All right, we got Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, Libra, Aquarius, Aries. All right. It doesn't have to be, but it was. All right, but that's what I got so far. All right, so this person, so they do this flippy flop thing. All right, this could be like somebody who's in like a friend group or like who's maybe you work around, like there's like interaction that happens here with this person. It doesn't seem like it's all the time, but this person probably would like it to be that way. Like that's how they were thinking, like I would like it to be this way. There's a desire, like they feel like they were thinking like either they were suppressing their desires and weren't trusting their judgment, or they were feeling judged about having secret desires, or they were desiring you to make a judgment because they felt like you guys were going over and over and over again. This person kind of, they're like, all right, so even if they didn't make a judgment, there was like a deeper desire that they had that they could be holding back. All right, they could be thinking that you're a leader, like, or like they could be thinking that, or they were thinking that they don't want to make their pain turn them into a monster. So they were feeling hurt in some type of way, and they were thinking they don't want to take it out on you. All right, like they could be holding that back. They could have been like trying to find like a balance in themselves or be sensible in some way. Okay. they were feeling like there was some type of unexpected change, or like there was like an opportunity to take action, but they were afraid, or they were doubting it, or you were afraid and you were doubting it. That's what they were thinking. They were thinking that there's solo time that was needed for you guys, and that all they need is you, or need is you to have faith in them, or that all you need is yourself and to have faith in that. They were thinking this. They were thinking about some type of sudden events, or they had some type of epiphany. Like something suddenly became clear to them, and maybe they wanted to work with you, or maybe they wanted to be independent. They couldn't really figure it out, because I got the Two of Wands here, so they couldn't really figure it out. They were thinking that maybe you felt like the grass was greener, or they felt like maybe they felt like the grass was greener. Like they were thinking one of these two, like either the grass is green, and they were getting impatient. Like, so like this person, like they're trying to be resilient. Like they were thinking about being resilient, but they were also thinking like, I need control of this situation. I need to dominate. I need to assert myself more. Or they were thinking that you need to assert yourself more. You need to be more dominant. All right, because they feel like you guys are just doing the same thing over and over. So like in their mind, they kept replaying the same pattern, the same cycle of not going after what they desire, or you not going after what you desire, or having some type of underlying temptation that they just couldn't make judgment on. They couldn't really make a clear decision on. You know, it's just that, you know what I mean? Like they're awakened to some type of truth here, and they're recognizing you. Now they could have felt like, or they could have thought like they were recognizing you for holding back, or they were recognizing that how they were holding back. So it's something like that. It's a recognition here. Now it could be a recognition of you guys having the same wants and desires, but like holding back. And I think they were thinking that. They were thinking that you back down too much when you should be asserting yourself, or they were thinking that they back down too much when they should be asserting themselves. They were thinking that they were having a hard time being vulnerable and putting their guard down. So like, yeah, like that's what they were really feeling. But they were also thinking that they could get lucky. So like they were trusting that they could get lucky, and that they're very accurate with whatever they go after. But at the same time, they were unsure. So like they were maybe trying to fill out the vibe, because it's like they didn't want to take sides, and they didn't want to stir the pot. You know, they were trying to look at things in the middle, like a Libra. You know, even if this person isn't a Libra, like this person is just trying to be balanced and fair with their approach. So the way they were thinking about you was like, I desire this outcome. I desire a certain way that this should go, or I desire you, you know, but at the same time, I feel like you're not going to do anything, or I'm not going to do anything. So it's kind of like a tension that's in between. And then maybe this person could have been feeling like there was other things, other opportunities that may come along, or like another chance at this again. So it's kind of like they were waiting for another opportunity, but they're getting impatient. So this person is thinking like the last time they seen you, like they were getting impatient with waiting to take an opportunity with you. They were impatient with moving forward with you, or they were feeling like you were being a little strategic in the way that you were presenting an opportunity to them. So they could have been thinking like you weren't being who you really are, like you were suppressing it. That's how they feel. All right, they feel like they were thinking like you were very relaxed, or very like poised, chilled. You know what I mean? Because like they feel like they don't have any control, so they want to like persist, or like keep going. Like they want to be able to be the one that that won the conflict, or that won the, like, I don't know, maybe it's a disagreement, but it's kind of like they want to be the one that won maybe your attention, or that won the attention in this situation. Like they want to stand out in a way. So they were trying to build their confidence. So they were thinking about their confidence, or they were thinking about your confidence, like how you present yourself, how you see yourself. You know what I mean? They wanted to dig deeper or go deeper with you, but they could have been like afraid of what may be exposed, or they could feel like you were afraid of what may be exposed. Like it was a thought of like what if you find out who I really am, or like what if they find out who you really are? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that fear. So they were backing down. All right, like they could have thought about like keeping an eye on you, or like getting into your information, or asking more questions about you, or you know what I mean, like just kind of like hanging around and observing. So they were thinking like maybe there's more to the story. So they were thinking that they need to observe you more, or like network with you more, ask more questions, you know what I mean, like be more specific, or even be a little skeptical of you. Or they were thinking that you were skeptical of them in this opportunity. So they were feeling like they weren't feeling the most confident about it, because they feel like you were being skeptical. So you could have been like holding back, or really not interested in them. They could be thinking like maybe you're not super interested, or you're not really into this. You know, they could be thinking like maybe they're not super attractive to you or that you're not super attracted to them. They could be feeling like you were holding back resources, like you were holding back information, like you know something that they don't. You know what I mean? They could have felt like you were holding back some type of anger or resentment, but you weren't letting it turn you into, you know, like who that hurt had made you. Like you weren't turning into the monster that the hurt made you become. Like you weren't that type of person. They could have been thinking that like maybe you wore like a bodysuit, or you were wearing like a bodysuit, or maybe like your clothes were very form fitting. You know, they could have been feeling that way about you. They could have been feeling like you were very in shape, or like your body is very fit, toned. You know, they were thinking about your body. So this person was thinking about desire with you, but they were thinking about how hard it is to be vulnerable and really express themselves, and they were kind of afraid of you seeing who they really are. You know, so they were trying to control, in their mind, they were trying to control how you see them, how they show up, how they present themselves, how they assert themselves. You know what I mean? Like, so they were trying to be more sensible, not really tip the scales. They didn't want to do too much. Just like they didn't want to offend you. You know, so they feel like you guys are going in the same pattern over and over, but not making any headroom. So they were thinking about that, like, this isn't going anywhere. This isn't going where I would like it to. You know, like maybe they're not as impressed with me. Maybe they're not really wanting me. Maybe we don't have the same feelings and emotions. Like maybe they're over this situation. Like they were thinking like maybe they're like over this situation. Maybe you're not even interested like that. You know, it's there, but you may just be like bored. So they kind of felt like that. Like maybe you're just bored. Maybe you're not really into this at all. You know, and that might be something that they might have felt like maybe they're not your usual type, or you're not their usual type, because they feel like you're holding back from desires, or that they're holding back from desires. So it's one of these two that's going on here. Like it's a feeling of maybe not being super attractive, or not feeling like you're attracted to them. I mean, or like you're super attractive, or it's somewhere in that feeling like there's like an insecurity here around confidence and around how they present themselves. So that's what they were thinking, and this was calling attention to their insecurities. So they were thinking about their own insecurities, or they were thinking about your insecurities. It was something that was going on here, all right? But they could have been thinking about how you were like unconventional to them, like not traditionally what they would go for, not traditionally how they're used to dating, or not traditionally how they're used to dealing with people. Maybe you're not a usual friend that they would deal with. You're not a usual co-worker or partner who they would kick it with. Like you're not usually someone who they would have in their friend group. And they were thinking about that. They were thinking about how you're like a sudden change in their life, or like an unexpected change in their life, something that they're not like maybe they want to learn more, or they want to ask more questions. Like this, it's like a feeling of like they know you, but it's kind of like they hold back from really like asking or diving deeper with where they want. So they're thinking about like, how do I present this, or how do I say what I need to say to them so that they can accept me, or so that they can take an opportunity with me, or so that I can get an opportunity with them to really see where this situation could go. You know, so that's what they were thinking about you the last time they seen you. It was like, maybe I made bad judgment on this person, or I'm afraid of this person's judgment. So it was like in this type of energy, but at the same time, they were still thinking that they can get lucky. So even if they weren't feeling super attractive or feeling super confident, they still were feeling like I can trust in my own luck and I can make things happen here. You know, so it's kind of like a creative energy, because whenever I see desire, I think of sacral chakra. Sacral chakra is like aggression. It's also confidence in a sense, and it's also sensuality, but it's also sexuality. So, but it's also having to do with pulling in your desires, magnetizing them. So they could have been like thinking like, how do I pull this in? How do I make this happen with this page of swords in reverse? They could have been thinking like, how do I make this happen? Like trying to come up with ideas, but nothing was very clear. They feel like they don't have enough information. So they were thinking like, I need to get more information. Yeah. Like maybe I need to present it or say something differently to get the outcome I'm looking for. So yeah, that's what they were thinking the last time they saw you. Here's your advice though. Creativity. We, your angelic messengers, are here to help unleash the endless creative potential that you possess. Listen to the whispers of love inside your heart as we communicate with you through feelings and emotion. Let go of fear and apprehension and express the endless source of creativity you possess. Have fun and allow the inner child within you to express your true essence. All is valid. So let me give you signs again. We got Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and then we got 2 Aries. All right. So pile 1, that was your reading. Thanks for watching. This your boy Noonie, and it's Leo in the 3rd house. Boom, pile 2. So, pile 2. last time they saw you, what were they thinking? Oh. Ah. Okay. All right. So we have Virgo, Gemini, Virgo, Capricorn, Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and we got Aries. And that's the signs we got, okay? Okay, so this person was, I was supposed to say conflicted, but it was a confrontation maybe? Or they were seeking some type of balance? Now, they could have been thinking that you guys were having like a push-pull dynamic and someone wasn't being all the way honest with their intentions, or that somebody was having a mask. The way they could have been thinking that their abundance is taking too long. And this was like when they were leaving. So this is like this person was like leaving out. So they could have maybe they came to your house, or this would be like someone who was like, I don't know, they could have been thinking about like cleaning up. Maybe when you were leaving, they were thinking about cleaning up, or they could have thought about you needing to clean up, or, you know what I mean? Like there was an acknowledgement and like a level of respect. So they were thinking like they respect you, but they wanted to go for it in some way. Now they could have been like thinking about how to keep their emotions like down. So this could have been like anger, frustration, or even like excitement. So they could have been like repressing it, but wanting to go for it in some way. All right, now this could have been like an aggression, or this could have been like impassion in some sort. This could be, you know, sadness, anger, happiness, creativity, sexual, like, you know what I mean? They could have been wanting to caress you. All right, like they could have been thinking about that. They could have been thinking about coming back stronger, better than ever. They could have been thinking about like working out with you, or like exercising, or coming back better the next time, like stronger. Or they could have been thinking about you being stronger. They could have been thinking about your abundance and your money that's appearing in your life. Or they could have thought that there's a confrontation, or there's an issue with money coming in your way, or coming their way. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to pay attention to signs no matter what, but they could have been keeping like a mask, or like having like unusual thoughts. And the unusual thoughts were like around abundance or stability, or in the direction that this relationship was going. They could have felt like the way you guys were doing it was churning butter, or they could have been thinking like the way that they've been trying to get abundance has been making them churn butter, and it's never coming in the way that they're doing it. So last time I seen you, they were thinking like maybe I'm not as abundant and it's not going in the way that I would hope it to. So they could have been like, this could be like somebody who's like they're happy for you, but they're not happy for you. You know what I mean? Like it's not, because this person feels like they played themselves with, it says, I played myself thinking the grass was greener with her. And they were thinking about bringing negative energy into your life, or they were thinking about who they needed to remove from their life who brings negative energy. And they could have felt like they chose the wrong person. So like this person could have been like dealing with somebody, and like they could have realized like, man, I can't keep dealing with this person because they're not like pile 2. You know, pile 2 is more, I don't know, reliable or steady, or whatever the case may be. They could have been thinking about that. They could have been thinking about putting on a facade like they don't care as much, or like they're not as involved, or like they're healing. So they could have been thinking about like healing, like taking some time alone to heal, you know what I mean, to like process what's happened to them. Or they could be like taking time out to like take a break. So they could have been thinking about like, okay, I'm about to take a break and this is hurting me, but they're not quite sure like why they're hurt, or they don't know why they felt betrayed, you know what I mean? So they could have been thinking like, I don't know why I feel this way about this person. So they needed to spend some time alone. So they were probably thinking about this like, I need to go do some soul searching. That's what they really were thinking about. Like, I need to go look at myself. I need to reflect, you know what I mean, on like the things that have disappointed me, or like on my self-beliefs, like my negative self-talk. So they were probably like thinking about that. They were thinking, yeah, they were thinking about being a little sneaky with you, or a little deceptive in some way. So they were thinking about like how to create a new beginning with you, or how to like restart the situation with you, like how to come towards you. Like they want to dive deeper with you. So they were thinking about how can I get deeper with them? How can I get closer to them? You know, so they were strategizing, you know what I mean? They were thinking about how you work hard for your family and how you're happy, but you're also not just into material things. So they were thinking like how you're not just materialistic, but you're there for your family. So they were thinking about you as being like a parent maybe, or like a you know, a good family member. They were thinking about like your good fortune. Like fortune is here. People were thinking about your money All right, this person was thinking about your money, and they were thinking about unfinished business with you, or like always having to do like a roundabout, like seeing you again, or like having interactions with you that seem not to go anywhere. Yeah, they were thinking about being toxic with you, or like you letting them into the house. They were thinking about, so for some, they were thinking about like bringing negativity into your house, and you know what I mean, and like they might have seen you as like a victim in a sense, or an opportunity. Now, for some, they were seeing this as like an interaction that for like a secret rendezvous. All right, for some, and they were like considering that, and they feel like you guys have like an unfinished business or a repeated pattern of doing that. For others, they feel like this is like a pattern where you guys always see each other, but it's maybe not long or fleeting, but there's other intentions or feelings behind it, and they were like thinking about that. So this could be like someone who were thinking about betraying you, stealing from you, but also this could be like somebody who was thinking about how to avoid conflict with you, or how to avoid conflict in a situation. So they were like probably like thinking or communicating in a way that wasn't like open and direct, you know, because that's what they were thinking. Like, I can't really say what's on my mind, or I can't really show my hand. So they were thinking like they can't really show their hand. They were kind of thinking that there's not enough, or like they don't, or maybe they were feeling like they weren't enough. Because I got sacral chakra here, which can represent like not feeling secure within yourself, not feeling confident. So they could have been feeling like they weren't enough. All right, like they feel like they need to come back better, stronger the next time. You know what I mean? Like they need to come back with a better version of themselves, or maybe a better game, or like more creative way to express themselves. They were thinking about how they attract abundance, like how they attract good things, or they were thinking about how you attract good things, like being around you brings in good things. Because they were like, they wanted to pay attention to signs, no matter how small. So maybe this is a person who was like trying to watch your facial, like they were trying to watch your facial features, trying to see how you were like taking in the information that they were giving you, or trying to see how you were reacting, because they felt like you were having a mask. So in their mind, they were thinking like this isn't who you really are, or you're not keeping it real with them, or there's more to the story than what you're telling them. You know, this is what this person was thinking. They could think that you were holding back resources, or holding back money, or hiding treasures, or hiding abundance. They were thinking that. They were thinking about unplugging something here, or like leaving and leaving and taking something with them, like maybe taking a charger, or like leaving and taking something that belongs to you, and they wanted to go for it. They could have been thinking about, yeah, some of them could have been thinking about like cleaning up your house, or like cleaning up like a previous disagreement. They could have thought about that, like cleaning up a disagreement that you guys had, like maybe sweeping it under the rug, like it's all good, don't worry about it, we're just sweeping under the rug. Like none of this is going anywhere. The way that we were doing things, the way we were communicating wasn't getting us where we want. So let's just sweep this under the rug. So they were thinking about like sweeping it under the rug. You know what I mean? Maybe not acknowledging something. They were for some, they were thinking about putting their tongue on you. You know what I mean? So yeah, they were thinking about putting their tongue on you, because some, it's like a romantic thing too. They were thinking about romance with you and putting their tongue on you. All right. For others, they were thinking about using their magic wand. All right. And they were trying to find a way to do so. Now they were thinking that maybe you were a lot more scary than what they thought. Like they could have thought that you were bigger, or they could have felt like they were deceiving themselves. Like maybe they thought they were bigger, or thought you were bigger than them. Like it's kind of like a fear, you know what I mean, and trying to avoid conflict with you. But there was a confrontation here, so they were reflecting on it. So they were thinking about it, or they've been like reflecting is thinking. So they've been like thinking on like a power dynamic or a push pull. You know, with the world inverse, they think this is all is going over and over. So they're feeling like maybe there's a deeper message to this situation, or there's a deeper connection, or there's more to the situation than they can clearly see right now. So that's what they were thinking. They were thinking like how they were uncertain. Like there's a lot of uncertainty. So that's what they were thinking. And there was like a lack of boundaries, or that they don't have boundaries. So they were thinking like one of you need boundaries, or that maybe they don't respect your boundaries, or they were trying to think about how to get past your boundaries. Because we got the Seven of Swords with the Magician. They were thinking about how to create a way to get past your boundaries. You know, I was thinking they were probably thinking about a deterrent, like how to deter you from doing something, or how to maybe get control. It's not really like control the situation. It's kind of like they want to get behind your guards, or get behind your boundaries in a sense, which is the same thing as getting behind your guards. But they were thinking about that, like how do I get into their inner circle, or how do I start up a pattern with them again, or start up a cycle with them again? Like I want to do this over, but I want to be able to do this right. I have more wisdom, more clarity now. So that's what they were thinking about when I say that they're coming back stronger and better. Like they think that they have more clarity. They could have been strategizing. You know, this could be a very smart person, so they can already think that they know what to do, how to do it. You know what I mean? They could be reconsidering things. So they were thinking about reconsidering, you know what I mean? And like really maybe getting to know you. So they've been thinking like that. They've been thinking about like how to maybe get to know you deeper. Because they feel like you're a mystery, or like you're a loner, or like you don't be around them like that, or you don't be around people like that. Or something like that. It's kind of like they don't see you clearly, or like they don't think that you see them clearly. So they were thinking like you don't really know them, or like they don't really know you. They think that you're achieving your dreams. So last time they seen you, they thought you were achieving some type of dreams, or moving towards passion very fastly, or they were thinking about moving towards you very passionate, very fastly. Like they wanted to appear in your life. Yeah, they wanted to bring a lot of love, but they felt like it's moving very slowly, or they felt like you were moving away from them and you weren't being honest or like truthful. They felt like you were taking your love with you, or you were having feelings elsewhere, or like you weren't. It's kind of like they were thinking about like I can just get over this. So for some they were just thinking like they can just get over this situation, but for others they were thinking about like how to restart this situation. So the last time they seen you, they was thinking about like, oh, it's okay, I'm over it. But at the same time, they wanted to start it up, or they want to like make it happen. So they could have been like kind of playing like nonchalant, like it's not really a big deal, but really it's like something that's burning inside of them, and they've been like contemplating it and thinking about it for a while. So that's what they were thinking the last time they seen you, and they weren't really being like honest about it. They were thinking a lot. Like some of them, like I said, they could have been thinking about like there's not enough, and this could mean like they don't have enough, or they could be thinking like you don't have enough, or they could have been feeling like they weren't enough. And this is like in a sexual matter, or in a creativity matter, or a physical matter. Like they were thinking like they don't have enough, or they're not enough in that case, or that you're not enough to them. One of the two. All right. But they feel like they played themselves choosing somewhere else or going in another direction with someone else. So they were thinking that when the last time they seen you, like, dang, I made a bad decision, thinking that going this way was going to be better than going where I was with you. And that's how they were feeling. So here's your advice. Jewel, every event in life presents us with a new opportunity to experience ever greater love. There's a jewel to be found within every teardrop. Trust, we, your angels, are guiding the current events. This is a time in which you and those close to you will emerge strengthened by ever greater bounds of love. Trust, there is nothing to fear. There is only love. So yeah, for some, they could have been looking you in the face and lying to you, because I was thinking about that with the mask, like that. Like they could have been worried about you maybe finding a deeper truth, or finding some type of betrayal, or finding out some type of lie. So they were worried about that. Like that was on their mind. So yeah. Anyway, let me give you signs. We got Aries, Capricorn, Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, Virgo, Gemini, Virgo. All right. So, pile 2, that was your reading. Thanks for watching. This your boy Noonie, and it's Leo in the 3rd house. Boom. Pile 3. So, pile 3. Last time they saw you, what were they thinking? So you could have been dealing with a Gemini, a Virgo, a Scorpio, Virgo, Libra, oh, okay. Or you could have been dealing with a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Okay, so yep, they could have been thinking about, they were overthinking for sure. All right, let me tell you that. The last time they saw you, they were overthinking. They were all in their thoughts. And they were thinking about revealing what needs to be seen, which is like a deeper truth, or a deeper feeling of like aggression or sexuality. Like there's something deeper that they wanted to. It could be like a secret. Could have been taboo because we got Scorpio. So they were thinking about traveling towards you, or they were thinking about being intellectual with you in some way. They were thinking about their perception of you, or the perception of something that they wanted you to know. All right, they were thinking about grounding, like maybe making the situation stable of some sort. But they were thinking about how they're like outcast, or like how they were thinking about like achieving some way, or like a becoming a pillar in society, or like they were being strategic about how to move upwards in society, or how to like move forward with a plan, like step by step. So they were thinking about like being ambitious, or they were thinking about your ambition. They were thinking about like what happens next. Like they were trying to be in their heart space, and be more receptive, more compassionate, more caring, more grateful, more appreciative. They were thinking about being more grateful and appreciative. They were thinking about like how they're not seeing results for their time or their energy, or how they're misunderstood. Yeah, they were thinking about how they were misunderstood, or how there was a misunderstanding, like a miscommunication. They were feeling like there wasn't an exchange of emotions, or like you guys weren't being as charming or as passionate. Yep, they feel like you weren't being as charming or as passionate, like there was a miscommunication or misunderstanding. They felt like there was like a breakup or a break, like a sudden rest between y'all, or they felt like they needed rest, like they were overtired or overworked, and they weren't seeing the results of what they've been like going after, or what they've been, putting their time in. So last time you saw them, they were like grateful, but they were tired, needing rest. They could have came from a long trip, or they were like on the way to maybe making a journey or something. Like they could have been thinking about traveling, maybe like driving, riding, transportation of some sort. So could have been thinking about their car. They could have been also thinking like how they don't compare to you, or like how somebody else doesn't compare to you. Could have said she doesn't compare. So they were thinking about like exploring beyond you because someone else doesn't compare. And they were thinking about how grateful, or how much of a wish fulfillment you would be, or they were thinking that they were a wish fulfillment towards you. Like one of those things, but they felt like there was a misunderstanding. So like maybe they felt like, or they were thinking like, I'm her wish fulfillment or his wish fulfillment, but they don't understand what I'm trying to say to them. Or there's always like our wires get crossed. All right, they could have been thinking about like research, or like some type of education information that was coming in. They could have been like text messages, or like social media. They were thinking about like communicating with you. So last time I saw you, they were thinking about communicating. Like they could have been like maybe watching you on social media and wanting to communicate with you. They were thinking about doing good for intention, and not just to like make you think that they were good. Or they were thinking about your intention, like maybe you do good for attention and not for, like maybe you do good for attention and not with intention. Or they were thinking about doing like being genuine with you, and not just like for an act or a facade. Like they wanted to be real with you. And that's what they were really thinking about. Like, I want to be real with you, be honest with you, and really reveal something that's deeper or closer to my heart. But I feel like I'm stuck in the same routine and we're not moving forward. This is kind of like pile one. But that's what they were thinking. They were thinking about being very ambitious and making things happen. But they would feel like they were overthinking it. Like that was on their mind. Like, dang, I must be overthinking this situation. Or they were thinking that you were overthinking. They were thinking that you were stuck in your head, and that you were not trusting in your voice, or not trusting in your thought process. You know what I mean? They were feeling like you overthink moving up, or you were overthinking moving forward, like you were being too strategic. All right? They felt like you were being overzealous in a way. But they felt like you knew more than what you were letting on. The last time they seen you, they felt like you knew more than what you were letting on. Yep. They could have been thinking about like their laundry, or needing to like, or like your clothes. Like it could have been like your clothes they were worried about. I think they were worried like your body, like his bigger body or wider body or some sort. Or they was probably thinking about like going on a beach or traveling with you somewhere. Like they were thinking about going somewhere, like let's be somewhere, let's go somewhere. But like they weren't really clear about how they wanted to do it or where they wanted to go. Like it felt like maybe they revoked the offer. They could have been like thinking about like taking their feelings back, or like taking back an offer that they had given you, or like being rejected with an offer that they had given you. They could have felt like you were being stubborn and only caring about your feelings. So they were thinking like she only cares about herself, or he only cares about himself. You know, he's comfortable alone, or she's comfortable alone. They don't care about other people. They're not open to giving. They're not as generous, or they give with intention. They give with ulterior motives. So like they could have been thinking like you were giving something to get something, or they could have been thinking about giving you something to get something. You know what I mean? Like that's where they were at. Like this person wanted charm or passion with you. Now this could be like a writer, artist, or like a passionate speaker, or like someone who's a creator, or someone who does like creative work, or someone who encounters you through like creativity. This means like anything. This could be like a hobby. This could be like anything that you created that isn't necessarily having real guidelines to it. So they could have been thinking about that. Thinking about how you guys were creating something that didn't really have any guidelines to it. This could be romantically, or this could be like passionate work or creativity. And they were thinking about that. They were thinking about grounding that situation. And they were thinking like how they don't compare to you, or how other people don't compare to you. Like whoever they thought was better than you isn't comparing to you. This is kind of like Powell. It's kind of like Powell. I think Powell 1 I did like this. But they were thinking about liberation. Like they could have been thinking like you were liberated, like being free. Because they wanted to reveal something that hadn't been seen. So they were thinking about like freeing themselves and just being receptive or being open to you. So they were really thinking like they're like, I'm overthinking how to move forward in the situation. So they were like being maybe a little bit timid or like unsure of their feelings. So they were thinking like maybe I'm not for real about my feelings, or maybe they're not for real about their feelings. You know what I mean? They were thinking like how do I be adaptable to this situation? Because they were also thinking like I could just bull my way in, like just push my way in. They were thinking about pushing their way in, or just maybe forcing their way in. You know, they were thinking like, or they were thinking like you're trying to force your way in, like you're being a bully. All right? They could have been thinking about like how you guys are connected divinely, or like a spiritual connection, or they could be just thinking about like how they're tapped in with a spiritual connection, or something like that. It's like they're divinely connected. So they could be thinking like you're divinely connected, or they could be feeling like you guys are divinely connected, or you know what I mean? It's one of these things. They feel like you have a deep connection to Mother Earth, or to your mother. All right? Like they were thinking about your abundance and your prosperity. And like maybe you lost something material-wise. So they were thinking like maybe a loss of material. Could have been for them, could have been for you. But it freed you up, or it made you free. So they were thinking of maybe like being free of you, or like you being free of them. Like somewhere here they feel like an offer was revoked, or an opportunity was revoked, or someone took back their love, or took back their feelings, stopped expressing emotions. So they were thinking that next time. So they were thinking like, oh, I won't express my feelings and emotions next time. I'll hold back next time. You know what I mean? I'll act as if nothing bothers me. So the last time they saw you, that's what they were thinking. Oh, I'll just hold back as if nothing was bothering me, or I don't care. So that's how they were feeling, like as if I don't have feelings and emotions in this situation. They were thinking more about like work, getting things done, where they're going to take the next lesson, or the next adventure maybe, or the next like leap, the next step up, like how to get to the next rung in society, or how to move up. They were thinking about that. They were thinking about maybe you moving up in that way, because they care about abundance and ambition and drive. So they were thinking like maybe you're moving up, or they were thinking about for how can they move up, and they were overthinking it, or somewhere here they were thinking like somebody's overthinking. So it could be you and them, but they would feel like they're not getting the results that they want for the time and the energy that they put in. You know what I mean? They feel like wires are getting crossed. So like they wanted to restart the situation or rehash this. Like they want you to reconsider, or they reconsider, and that's what made them hold back. So they could have been thinking like I'm going to hold back, or they could be thinking that you're holding back. But it's like if they do come forward, they were thinking like if I come forward, I'm going to have to only care about my feelings and my feelings only. I'm only have to care about me. So they could have been just thinking like I'm only going to care about myself. And they could have been thinking about certain information that was there, or their mentality, like their mentality was changing. So they could have been thinking like how their mentality is changing, how they're only going to be focused on themselves and what they want. They were thinking about maybe being merciless or cold emotionally. But still, they were thinking about grounding this situation, but they were overthinking it, or they felt like you were overthinking this situation. So it's one of those two. But they want to dive deeper, and they want to reveal something that's on their heart. This could be a resentment. This could be a grudge. This could be sexual passion. This could be creativity that was on their mind, and they wanted to ground it. One of these two things. This could even be like secret aggression, which is a resentment. But they wanted to ground it and communicate about it, but they were overthinking the situation. Or they feel isolated from you, where they can't really communicate with you. So it could be like they were thinking about like keeping their eye on you or watching you. One of these two. Right? They could have been thinking about like exploring behind what's not being seen or what's not being said. So they could have been thinking about like diving deeper with you. You know what I mean? Creating something new with you, but they were like it's undecided about how they wanted to go about it. Yeah. Here's your advice, though. Because what they're thinking is like, what comes next? So they're thinking like, what comes next? So the last time they saw you, they were thinking, well, what's going to happen next? You know what I mean? Like, where would this situation become? What would we do? How should I do this? Anyway, here's your advice. Compassion. Dearest one, be compassionate towards yourself. Surrender to self-criticism and fear that has you believing you need to improve in order to be worthy. You are perfect just as you are. The only thing that needs to change is your perception. You will come to realize the jewel you are when you love and honor yourself as you are. So, the signs I have are Virgo, Leo. Do I? No, I do not have a Leo. Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Virgo, Gemini, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. All right. So, pile 3, that was your reading. Thanks for watching. This your boy Noonie, and it's Leo in the 3rd house. Boom. Pile 4. So, pile 4. Last time they saw you, what were they thinking? If there's an obstacle or some type of power struggle, you could be dealing with a Cancer, could be dealing with a Scorpio. I got Scorpio twice. Got Sagittarius, Pisces, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Sagittarius. All right. So I got a lot of fixed energy. All right. I got Capricorn here too. All right. So they were thinking about like a rebirth or forgiveness or like making bad judgment. They were thinking about a bad judgment. Last time I seen you, they were thinking about a gateway to glory or victory with you, and how maybe they made a bad decision, or you made a bad decision. They were thinking about sacrificing their needs or playing a victim, or like you were playing the victim, and this chaos or this whirlwind that's happening. All right, they could have been thinking about dancing with you, and maybe like you're chaotic with dancing or chaotic with the way that you move. They were thinking like maybe you don't have rhythm, or they were thinking like you were taking a break after dancing, or a date. After a date, maybe a date, but they were thinking like you're not devoted, or like they wanted to be devoted to you, but they're taking a break from you. So they could have been thinking like they were taking a break from devotion, or a break from being focused on you. All right. They could have been like thinking about like self-reflection, like looking deeper at themselves, or like problem solving. Or they could have been thinking about like a power struggle between you guys, like that's causing tension. All right, like they want to compromise in some way. It could have been like self-loathing though, or feeling like the victim, or feel like they victimized you. All right, they were thinking about like your loyalty, or the loyalty of somebody close to them, and it was starting to cause them doubt. So they were thinking like they're not really ready for a relationship. So this could be like, but they wanted to be by your side. So they were thinking like, I'm not ready for a relationship, or they're not ready to like be vulnerable, but they're ready to like still be by your side, like loyal. They could have been thinking like they're a soldier. You know what I mean? Like they're not ready for a relationship, but they're being loyal, or they're like, the loyalty to somebody who they're with is giving them doubt, but they feel like they were going to stick by you anyway. So like, even if they thought your loyalty was giving them doubt, they were still going to stick by you. It could have felt like you were a little bit strange, or like you were like a doctor, or like they were thinking like maybe, or something like about a doctor. They were thinking like there has to be more to this. So maybe they were thinking like there's more to a story, or they were thinking like there's more to this situation than this. So maybe they want to cool down. They could have been thinking about fighting, or they could have been thinking about fighting for this connection, or they could have thought like they have a fight coming up, or like they were going to have to fight for something, and that was causing them stress or tension. They were thinking that it's okay to free themselves from a situation that's toxic to them, or that they weren't feeling loyal, or they were feeling like it's okay for you to detach yourself from a toxic situation that's not loyal to you. Like they were doubting, they feel like either you were doubting their loyalty, or they would feel like they were doubting your loyalty. So last time they saw you, they wanted to like raise a question. I got Page of Swords, so they was somebody who wants to ask a question. So they wanted to inquire or ask you something. So they were like, but they weren't trusting their better judgment, or they didn't trust your judgment, or they didn't feel like you would do the right thing. They felt like you were being rebellious. So they could have been thinking about being rebellious, or they could have been thinking about communicating like wanting a divorce, or communicating, maybe letting you go for a better opportunity. Or they could have been thinking about releasing some type of harsh judgment so that you guys can reconcile. So they could have been thinking about that. They were thinking about like how they're aware, like their awareness is coming up. Like, so they could have been thinking about like their intuition or their maybe psychic gifts, or they could have been thinking about like how they know stuff but they don't know stuff. You know what I mean? Like they could be thinking about how you handle conflict. Like you dance around it. Maybe you were dancing around conflict or dancing around an issue, and they were thinking about how you were dancing around an issue and not really being clear or playing more of a victim. You know? They were thinking that you guys don't align or vibe anymore. Like you guys aren't the same anymore, or like the relationship is more, I was gonna say toxic, but it kind of gives off more like a relationship that's like they were weighing like the pros and cons. Like, is this worth it? Is this worth it? So they were thinking about like whether they should do it, whether they shouldn't do it, should they devote themselves, should they not? So they were thinking about that the last time that you've seen them. And they were thinking about, for some, they were thinking about how they create their own world, like how to create their own world. So they were taking time out to like ponder on how I create the outcome I'm looking for. So last time they saw you, they wanted to have a new experience with you, or they wanted to travel, or they were thinking about some type of success or boundaries that you guys might have had. They could have been thinking about like things going in their favor, or things going in your favor. And they felt like you maybe this it's coming from rebelliousness, or it's coming from a change of belief system, or it could have been coming in an unorthodox way, abundance or good luck, good fortune. Like they could feel like there was a fated event, like they were meant to be there, or like they were on time for something, or like you were on time for something. But they could be wanting like an apology, or to offer an apology, or like they could have been thinking about like reconciling, or they could have been thinking about you as like someone from their childhood, or you could have been making them think about like children and a new experience. Like they wanted to give you the world. That's how they were thinking about it. Like they were thinking about like they wanted to give you the world, or they were thinking like you wanted to give them the world. Like they wanted to do something over with you because they felt like you were fated. So the last time they saw you, this person wanted to like have a do-over with you. They could have wanted a non-traditional relationship with you, or they could have wanted to give you paperwork or give you information. Like they wanted to say something. So they could have maybe wanted to give you money or deliver you something. The last time they saw you, they had like news to give you. It could have been good news, or it could have been information you wanted to know, useful information. So the last time they saw you, they felt like they had useful information that they wanted to give to you. They could have been like thinking about like horses, or like how fast you guys moved, or they could have been thinking about like you being like a free spirit, or they could have been thinking about themselves being like a free spirit, but like wanting to be loyal to you and wanting to be by your side, but like they're not ready for a relationship, or they weren't ready to like connect with you like in a way. So they could have been thinking about that, and they could have been thinking about maybe being devoted to you, but you're not being loyal. You know what I mean? So they could have been thinking about that, like, or they could have been thinking like you wanted to be committed to them, but they're not loyal, but they want to give you an opportunity, but they feel like you have boundaries, but they would like to apologize, or they're like reminiscing of like when y'all had more success, or when things were going well and in their favor, or when they were expanding with you. So they could have been thinking about that, and they could have been thinking about how you guys ended, if you guys had an ending. And they could have been thinking that maybe you made bad judgment, or that they made bad judgment. So like when they seen you, that's what they were thinking. Like it was a whole lot going on for them, because I got the world here and the world and the Wheel of Fortune, and that's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of like synchronicities. So they could have been thinking like I felt like more like on time or something. Like they were on time. They could have been thinking like that they're going to keep their eye on you too, or they're going to spy on you. But they were thinking like they want a rebirth in this situation, or they want a transmutation. They want to be able to see the situation from like a higher perspective and either forgive and forget, or they felt like you guys were having irreconcilable differences. Like there were like certain beliefs or certain expectations that you guys just couldn't get over, and they were very skeptical of you, or skeptical of like your judgment, or they were skeptical of their judgment. So they were thinking like maybe they don't see things clearly, or maybe you can't forgive them, or maybe they can't forgive you. But they were thinking about maybe they could. So it's like that type of energy, or maybe you could. You know, they were thinking like there's a change that happened and it was unexpected. And somebody played a victim, either them or you. Somebody maybe sacrificed their needs for the other person. So they were thinking about how Either they sacrificed their needs for you, or you sacrificed your needs for them, or there was a sacrifice for somebody else's needs that wasn't theirs, or vice versa, or you did a sacrifice for somebody else's needs that weren't yours, and they were thinking about that. They were thinking about heated emotions and like needing to maybe sit with themselves and really process those feelings so they can get over it. They were thinking like this was like an opportunity for growth, so they were reflecting back on it. So they've been thinking about it. They've been thinking like this is an opportunity for growth. All right, and that's what they were thinking the last time they seen. They were thinking about reaching out or saying something to you, maybe delivering you something, mail, paper, presenting you something with something. All right, they were thinking about like, presenting you maybe with love, for some of the apology. Like they felt like there was a difficulty between y'all, but they want to offer you something. All right, and maybe they want to take care of you. They could have been thinking about their health. Like they could have been thinking about like bad health or like their health becoming on the up and up, but I felt like they were feeling more like a victim. So they could have been thinking like they were having bad health, or it was like a bad circumstance for them. And so they could have been thinking about how it wasn't going how they expected it to, or it's not fitting a certain societal belief, and they were a little defensive about it. Or they felt like you were defensive about it. It's one of these two. They were feeling something like that, but they were feeling like this is their last chance, or it was like their last breath, or like their last opportunity with you. So they were feeling like this may not work or this may not happen again. So they were like kind of torn. Like that's how they were thinking. They were thinking like, I'm torn about this. Like, I don't know. Do I have enough information? Like, do I know this person enough? Or did I ask the right questions? Did I say something wrong? Like that's what they were thinking. Like, did they say something wrong? Or did you say something wrong? So they could have been thinking like maybe you said something wrong, or maybe you were a little bit slick with the mouth. They could have been thinking like how you were slick with the mouth, or how they were being slick with the mouth, or it's something like that. Like they were thinking about that, but they were thinking like how someone's loyalty is giving them doubt, or how maybe someone else's loyalty was giving you doubt. Like they felt like you were doubting their loyalty or something like that. It was somewhere in this range or somewhere like that. All right, but they were feeling there's more to this. So I don't know what the more is. It could be like towards the job, towards the situation, towards whatever. Like they were feeling there's more to it, but I think maybe more to the emotions or the feelings or what they're seeing. Like they felt like they know something. So because the third eye chakra is here, the crown chakra is here, which is downloads from spirit. So this person could be feeling like they were coming into their instinct or coming into like their intuition, like they were divinely guided. So they could have been feeling like you guys were divinely guided, like this, I was about to say a resuscitation. So maybe there's like a resuscitation that happens, or like that happened, and that's what they were thinking, like you guys were divinely guided to come back together or to reunite. That's how they were feeling about it, or that's what they were thinking about it. Like they were meant to run into you. They could have been thinking about like a childhood friend or childhood situation, or like memories from the past, like good times with you guys, and they were just like thinking about that. Like they were thinking about like how things have changed so fast. So they were thinking about that, and they were torn, and that was on their mind a lot. All right, they could have been thinking about their intention and where they wanted to move this situation, or what the intention was behind it. And they could have been feeling a little bit, like I said, defensive, or they could have been feeling like you were a little defensive behind their intentions behind it, like behind what they were trying to create. Like maybe they felt like you didn't see them, or they were thinking like they don't see you clearly, or they don't see you often, or they don't know who you are, what you're on. So they were thinking about this. They were thinking about surrendering and just giving up, not taking action. But they were thinking about pursuing it too. So it couldn't go both because there's multiple stories here. So they were thinking about both. All right, but here's the advice. Inner child. Nurture your inner child and begin to express the awesome beauty you hold within you. We live in a world where a formula exists for everything, yet love and creativity do not have a formula. They do not need to be studied, simply nurtured. Rest aside some time to just play. So it's about you letting your inner child out. So maybe you and this person were having ego battles, and you guys were needing to be like a lot more lighthearted, a lot more free, a lot more loving, embracing more self-love, and being a lot more compassionate or gentle with each other. So that might have been what they were thinking, or maybe that's just the advice of what's needed to be happening in this dynamic. All right, so let me give you signs. We have Capricorn, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, Pisces, Sagittarius, Scorpio, Cancer. All right. So, Pal 4, that was your reading. Thanks for watching. This your boy Noonie, and that's Leo in the third house.